Hello, I'm Jack Whitehead, and I'm speaking from the UK as part of my virtual presentation to the International Conference on Poverty, Globalisation and Schooling, a Holistic Approach. What I'd like to focus on, and this video is actually supported by texts, PowerPoint slide, and other resources that you can access on the web at actionresearch.net, and that is all one word in lowercase. And I do hope you will access that resource because it's part of the message that I have to communicate in terms of spreading our influence as we respond to abstract concepts of poverty, globalisation and schooling with the work that we're doing as we try to improve our practice. And when I talk about improvement, I'm actually talking about trying to live as fully as we can the values that carry hope for the flourishing of humanity. And what I want to point you to are the living theories of practitioners who are actually engaging with issues of poverty, globalisation and schooling in different parts of the world, and who are actually forming a social movement in relation to their sense of being and working together to share their ideas and also spread the influence of these values. Now, when I talk about a living theory, I'm meaning that it's the explanation of the educational influences that individuals can actually produce for their own learning, in the learning of others, and in the learning of the social formations in which we're located. And I want you to, I hope you will access these living theories at actionresearch.net from different parts of the world, because they can actually show you how people from within individual sites are actually engaged with living the values that I think you and I believe will actually carry hope for the flourishing of humanity. So in terms of the resources that are made available for you at actionresearch.net, I do hope that you will access the PowerPoint slide that accompanies this presentation, plus the written text that I've produced, which actually can show you where you can actually access these inquiries of people in different parts of the world that are responding to issues of poverty, globalisation and schooling, not only from within a structure of conceptual abstractions that I think we all need to understand what's happening, but they make creative and critical responses from within their own practice, so that what they're doing is actually influencing their part of the world in terms of living these values that carry hope for the flourishing of humanity, whilst responding to these issues of poverty, globalisation and schooling. And in my paper, you'll see that I draw on some of the most advanced theories of the day to demonstrate how important these are in understanding, for example, the inequalities which are growing in terms of the poverty and the economic conditions which are creating poverty. But I also extend the notion of poverty to include academic texts that omit issues to do with these values, and also to show the energy that actually needs to be accompanied by every time we act. I'm also going to show you how you can use digitalized video of practice to clarify and share the meanings of these energy flowing values in explanations of educational influence. And when we come to globalisation, I'll try and show how people are responding to issues of economic rationality that can lead to devaluation and demoralisation unless these values are actually held at the heart of what we're doing. And when it comes to an analysis of schooling, what I want to emphasise is the importance of making sure that what we do has an educational influence. So whilst we may be engaged in practices within schools, the notion of schooling can actually be used in quite an oppressive way as part of an accountability process that just focuses on accountability and passing tests and examinations, whereas educational influencers are connecting learning to enhancing the flow of values that carry hope for the flourishing of humanity. So I hope that just in this brief introduction, I've stimulated you to actually go to actionresearch.net to access the PowerPoint slides and the text that supports this virtual presentation. And I do hope you are really going to enjoy the conference and that we can sustain our communications through the internet, possibly through the Educational Journal of Living Theories, that if you access that from actionresearch.net, you will see there is a community space that many people are contributing to in terms of sharing their practice and helping others to understand what they're doing in different parts of the world. Okay, goodbye for now, and I do hope we sustain our communications.